You're lying to yourself right now. I know because I've been there too. You wake up every morning with the best intentions, don't you? Today's the day you'll finally stick to your diet, write that novel, learn that skill, build that business. But by evening, you're scrolling through your phone, making excuses, promising yourself you'll start tomorrow. Again, this isn't about willpower. This isn't about motivation. This is about something much deeper, something that the ancient Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius understood 2,000 years ago when he sat alone in his tent on the Germanic frontier, wrestling with the same human struggles we face today. Here's what nobody tells you about self-discipline. It's not about forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's not about becoming some robotic perfectionist who never enjoys life. It's about understanding a fundamental truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. You are not your feelings. You are not your impulses. You are not even your thoughts. You are the consciousness that observes all of these things. Marcus Aurelius knew this. While ruling the most powerful empire in human history, dealing with plagues, wars, and political intrigue, he wrote in his private journal what we now call the Meditations. These weren't meant for publication. They were his personal reminders, his way of staying sane in an insane world. And buried in those pages is a roadmap for escaping the prison of your own making. The first thing Marcus understood was that most people are sleepwalking through life. They react to everything. They're pushed around by their emotions, like leaves in the wind. But here's the uncomfortable truth he discovered. The only thing you truly control is your response to what happens to you. Everything else is just weather. Think about your last major disappointment. Maybe you didn't get that promotion. Maybe someone you cared about left. Maybe your carefully laid plans crumbled. What did you do? If you're like most people, you either blamed others or you blamed yourself. You told yourself you weren't good enough, or the world was unfair, or you just weren't meant to succeed. But Marcus would ask you a different question. What did you learn? How did this experience reveal something important about your character? How can you use this setback to become stronger? This isn't positive thinking nonsense. This is about recognizing that life is essentially indifferent to your plans. The universe doesn't owe you anything. Your childhood trauma doesn't give you a free pass. Your genetic predispositions don't doom you to failure. These are just starting conditions. What matters is what you do next. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control. It sounds academic, but it's revolutionary when you really understand it. There are things within your control and things outside your control. Focusing on what you can't control is not just pointless, it's actively harmful. It drains your energy and keeps you stuck in victim mode. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people think they know what's in their control, but they're wrong. You can't control whether you feel motivated. You can't control whether you feel confident. You can't even control whether you feel like doing the things you know you should do. What you can control is what you do regardless of how you feel. This is where the ancient practice of voluntary hardship comes in. Marcus would deliberately make his life uncomfortable in small ways. Not because he was a masochist, but because he understood that comfort is the enemy of growth. When you voluntarily choose difficulty, you're training yourself for the involuntary difficulties that life will inevitably throw at you. Modern neuroscience backs this up. Every time you do something difficult that you don't want to do, you're literally strengthening the neural pathways associated with self-control. Your brain is like a muscle. It gets stronger with resistance training. But here's the twist that nobody talks about. The goal isn't to become some emotionless robot who never struggles. The goal is to become someone who struggles well, someone who fails forward, someone who understands that discipline isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Marcus failed too. He lost battles. He made mistakes. People he trusted betrayed him. His own son turned out to be a disappointment. But he kept showing up. He kept doing the work. Not because he was superhuman, but because he understood something profound about human nature. We are not designed to be happy. We are designed to grow. Happiness is a byproduct of growth, not a destination. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop waiting for motivation and start creating momentum. You stop looking for the perfect moment and start working with the moment you have. The ancient Greeks had a concept called eudaimonia, often translated as happiness, but meaning something deeper. It's the sense of fulfillment that comes from becoming who you're capable of becoming. It's not about pleasure or comfort, it's about actualization. Here's what this means practically. Every day, you have countless opportunities to choose between who you are and who you could become. Every time you choose the harder path, the path that requires growth, you're practicing eudaimonia. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're practicing its opposite. The tragedy isn't that we fail. The tragedy is that we fail to learn from our failures. We make the same mistakes over and over, expecting different results. We blame our past, our circumstances, our genetics, anything but the one thing we actually control, our choices in this moment. Marcus understood that every day is a new opportunity to practice being human. Not perfect human, just human. To show up imperfectly, but consistently. To fail better than you failed yesterday. To slowly, gradually become the person you're capable of becoming. This isn't about overnight transformation. This is about daily practice. Small choices compounded over time. The decision to get up when you don't want to. The decision to do the work when you don't feel like it. The decision to keep going when everything in you wants to quit. The Roman emperor, who could have had anything, chose discipline over indulgence, responsibility over pleasure, growth over comfort. Not because he was special, but because he understood that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your choices. So here's my question for you. When you look in the mirror tomorrow morning, who do you want to see looking back? The person who makes excuses or the person who makes progress? The person who reacts to life or the person who responds to it? The person who is controlled by their circumstances or the person who finds freedom within them? The choice, as it always has been, is yours. The only question is whether you'll make it consciously or let it be made for you. Marcus figured this out 2,000 years ago in a world without electricity, without modern medicine, without any of the comforts we take for granted. What's your excuse?